The penultimate weekend of ACC field hockey gets underway from Chapel Hill. The top 4 teams in the conference are all in action inside the Tar Heel State. In Chapel Hill, it's number 2 North Carolina and number 4 Virginia. The race at the top of the ACC is tight. 2 undefeated teams in conference, North Carolina and Boston College. The Eagles are taking on Duke as we speak, and North Carolina has BC on Sunday. Inside the broadcast booth, Ian Unsworth and Matt Krause with you. Matt, it's oh so tight inside the Atlantic Coast Conference. Those top 4 seeds all up for grabs.
Well, Ian, when the schedule was made many months ago, it's almost as if the schedule makers knew what to do to create drama, because there are these 4 teams right there jockeying it out for the ACC title, and they're all going head-to-head this week.
As we zoom in on tonight, Virginia and North Carolina have a score to settle because they played 3 times last year. Virginia got first blood. North Carolina got revenge.
It was a 2-0 North Carolina lead at the half in Charlottesville last year. Then the Hoos scored 3 unanswered. That's the last time North Carolina lost. In the win streak, it includes a 3-2 win in the ACC semifinal back in Charlottesville. And then here in Chapel Hill in the NCAA semifinal, Carolina shuts out Virginia 2-0, goes on to win the national championship.
North Carolina's dynamic offense fueled by Riley Heck, 9 goals, 13 assists on the year, but Virginia is without its best offensive player. No Danny Mendez-Trendler, missing the 3rd straight game with injury.
So Sue Slamans will have to step up even more. The graduate student, the head coach Ali Koizjin says, is a program-changing player. He's going to have a big day today because Heck and the Tar Heels can score goals in bunches.
Virginia was picked to finish first above UNC in the preseason poll by just 1 vote. The margins could be just as slim today. Back in a moment with opening pass back from Chapel Hill. What a way to start a weekend. A top 5 matchup at Karen Shelton Stadium. Weather cooperating, almost 75 degrees and sunny before opening pass back. The Virginia crew without Danny Mendez-Trendler, but still a formidable squad. 12-2 on the season. That's a look at Tyler Kennedy. She's only made 19 saves all year. Rather untested, the senior from Houston, in between the pipes. On the Carolina side, no surprises for Aaron Matson and crew. The 12-0 second-ranked Tar Heels, Abigail Taylor, mans the cage. Only 5 goals allowed all season.
It's a Tar Heel defense that has conceded just 2 of those 5 goals in the run of play, including 1 in their last game against Old Dominion.
And a North Carolina team that can really start fast. 3 goals within the first 5 minutes last weekend. 2 against Wake Forest, a 7-0 victory Friday, and then a 3-1 win over Old Dominion on Sunday. That was a little testy, all things considered.
That was a 1-1 game, onward to the 4th quarter before Carolina was able to put it away with a couple of 4th quarter goals. Still did not allow Old Dominion to have a shot in that span, though. Just kind of speaks to, while all the hype for North Carolina goes to the offense, it's a very formidable defense.
Virginia won 2 last weekend. 3-2 victory over Syracuse, all the way down to the shootout where Mia Abello hit the game winner. And then a 1-0 win on Senior Day over Miami, Ohio. You look at the stats, the game was all Virginia, but the Cavaliers only managed that 1 score.
The shot number was 17-1, Ian, and 6-0 advantage in shots on goal against a very formidable Miami of Ohio team that's perennially one of the favorites in the Mid-American Conference. And so a lot of the focus in practice for Virginia has been on finishing opportunities. And Ali Koizjin, the first-year head coach of the Cavaliers, knows that his team is going to have a great day, especially in that finishing department, to be able to beat North Carolina here in Chapel Hill.
Heard the 2 C's a lot from Coach Koizjin. Culture and confidence, the first-year man focused on after taking over for Michelle Madsen last year. Coached the last 6 games for Virginia, and 2 of those were against Carolina. Coach Koizjin knows what he's getting into.
He's dropped 4 games as a head coach, 2 of them, as you mentioned, to North Carolina. But it was getting Virginia to the national semifinals, earning a road victory against Maryland in the round of 8 that really helped him secure that position on a full-time basis after being the acting head coach at the tail end of last year.
Carolina playing 2-touch hockey, building from the back. Grace Pottebaum up ahead the wing. Yasmina Smolinars. Bombers feeds the middle to Dixon. A look for Riley Heck. Back pass, Bruder. Going the other way.
Really good build-up by North Carolina, letting the ball do the work, getting it to Riley Heck inside of the circle. She was swarmed immediately, though, by Virginia. And it'll be interesting to see how Heck fares in being able to pass out of a situation like that. You know she's going to be the focal point of Virginia's defense throughout this game.
Here comes Lily Hengerer up the near touchline. A pass to the middle. Mia Abello has her stick knocked away. And possession goes the other way. She actually knocked Katie Dixon's stick out of Dixon's hands. Abello knows a lot of these North Carolina players well. Teammates on the U21 national team. Won gold back in 2023. Abello, Riley Heck, who's got it now, and a couple other players on this field have even been promoted to the senior national team.
That's what you expect when you see two top 5 programs to the ACC's elite, North Carolina and Virginia. Their best players are going to compete against one another at the club level, now at the college level, and the national team level as well. Kind of bouncing between teammates and adversaries depending on the situation.
Sure, there might be some friendly fire in between sides tonight. Virginia from right to left, and we have seen Danny Mendez-Trendler check into the game. We were told by Coach Koiskin that she would be out today, and Virginia repeated that message throughout the week, but Mendez-Trendler giving it a go. You can see her right there.
Is unavailable due to injury in recent action for Virginia, and as you said, Ian, we were told she was not going to be able to play, but clearly the situation has improved enough for her to see action in this game. Did not start for the Hoos, but we'll see what kind of impact she can have.
How does this change things for Virginia?
Well, it definitely gives them more of an offensive punch, that's for sure. The combination of Mendez-Trendler and Taryn Kachuk, who are now can sub out for one another, very, very helpful.
Well, here is Mendez-Trendler. 5 goals, 4 assists this year. She can create something out of virtually nothing. But marked well by Riley Heck.
Third-team All-American a season ago, Mendez-Trendler. Just adds to the depth of a Virginia team that only has 20 players on its roster. So in terms of number of players, Carolina has more, but the Tar Heels also redshirt a large crop of freshmen. So in terms of available players, it is more equal.
16 of Virginia's 20 players have played double-digit games. So a crew that is battle-tested. Nice pickup from Sitska Bruning in the midfield. She and Katie Dixon were strong last week, controlling the spine, both against Wake Forest. Carolina had possession for almost the entirety of that game, and Old Dominion got all its offense off the flanks.
That was a really dominant win over Wake Forest, 7-0. The Tar Heels worked toward the circle offensively.
A push from Sana Hawk. She had the first assist against Old Dominion on Sunday. Pulled it out from a penalty corner and fed Bruder in the middle.
Off the dangerous play call, Virginia will take this back here.
And Mendez-Trendler quickly off the field, so maybe we'll see her in short stints.
I would imagine that would be the case, that Virginia will try and manage her load, especially early on in this game. Save some energy for later on.
Virginia only has one more ACC matchup after tonight. Next week against Wake Forest before the ACC tournament starts on November 5th.
Yeah, 5-1 in the ACC, the one defeat coming on the road to Boston College. We showed you right off the top, it's Carolina and Boston College who are undefeated. They're both 5-0. Duke and Virginia are 5-1. So Carolina and BC have the game against each other on Sunday, while Duke and Virginia only have Friday games from here on out. So that number of games played will equalize after Sunday, providing a little more clarity. But still, it is 4 teams tied for first place in the win column.
Noah Bodermans draws the foul. Strong body from Lauren Kenna. junior midfielder, keeps possession with the Wahoos. 2 losses for Virginia, 1 to BC, as you mentioned, Matt, and the other to St. Joe's, a high-powered offense for the Hawks. That was a 5-2 St. Joe's win.
St. Joe's definitely in the hosting conversation this year, especially as the Big Ten kind of cannibalizes itself.
Oh, Yasmina Smolinars just took a tumble there. No contact. Stumbled backwards. Play continues as Virginia ventures forward. Amelie Reese, the freshman from England, draws a whistle. Into the circle she goes. Bruning picks her pocket.
You see Smolinars is jogging toward the bench now, certainly favoring one ankle over another. Monitor her status as we go forward, but it looked as she fell down that perhaps one of her ankles got kind of twisted up underneath her.
Avery Donahue, 11 in Carolina blue, has it now. Charlie Bruder, the nation's leading scorer, also off the field. Lisa Slinkerton for UNC. Kennedy Cliggett also in the action. Saw Carolina make wholesale changes both Friday and Sunday. And Cliggett, the senior who's worked her way into some more playing time, had a goal and assist against Wake Forest.
Filling up the stat sheet and making an impact when you get on the field is one way to ensure more playing time. Another thing to note for Carolina is that Molly Ketchpole did not play in the Old Dominion game, so that afforded a few more minutes, and those went to Cliggett as a reward for her good play against Wake Forest.
Senior from Warrington, Pennsylvania in the mix. There goes Heck, eliminates one. Heck still swerving, but out of play, just on the edge.
That is the call. That's Ridge Bayer, the umpire, who was right on top of that. He said that Heck did lose possession of the ball out of bounds, and so Virginia will have it coming out from 16. Heck pleading her case, but in terms of umpire placement to make that call, you can't get better than that for Ridge Bayer.
Top-tier ACC crew, Bayer and Lance Sarabia are umpires tonight. Hangerer plays it back, and Madison Orsi sends it forward. Another Virginia Cavalier that's very familiar with the USA and UNC crews.
Orsi, a product of the WC Eagles club. That is the club that a large part of the North Carolina roster, most notably head coach Aaron Matson, comes from.
Chatted with Coach Madsen about WC Eagles earlier in the year. Club right outside of Philly, and the environment that it creates. The competitive culture, she said, is what makes it so special.
But it speaks to the point we were talking about earlier, right? You get these big-time ACC battles, and the players have been foes at the club level or teammates at the club level, and then it just kind of bounces around depending on where you are.
Here comes Taryn Kachuk. If that name sounds familiar, yeah, she's the sister of both Brady and Matthew. 2 NHL superstars. Matthew, a Stanley Cup champion earlier this year with the Florida Panthers.
Certainly a history of scoring some big goals here in the triangle for the Kachuk family. Matthew scoring those 2 overtime game winners in the 2023 Eastern Conference Finals for the Panthers. They would fall short of the cup that year and bounce back this past summer. Win that Stanley Cup in a thrilling Game 7 against Edmonton.
Lily Hangerer escorts it out of play. Carolina, heavy press early on. Orsi, the junior out of the Hill School, get us back to play. Smooth moves from Hangerer, grad student, passes it back to her twin sister, Megan. 2 found a love for field hockey in Ireland, moved back to the U.S. in high school, and both committed to Virginia, did it separately. No communication within the recruiting process. They both fell in love with UVA by themselves. Have to track back on defense. Slinkert plays it into the circle. Draws the whistle, keeps it with Carolina.
We were talking with Coach Koizen about the twins, and he said it takes a second glance to tell them apart. Obviously, jersey number helps. They have different stickers on their stick. That helps too. But if they don't have any field hockey equipment, it needs a second look for him to tell them apart.
They are as identical gets.
But not in the recruiting process. As we said, they committed separately.
But very similar personalities, bright, competitive, and they challenge each other. Lehman's tracking forward, and Donahue meets her. Even first quarter, Carolina with the only shot thus far.
Yeah, feeling out process for both teams over the course of this first quarter. Haven't had any corners yet. Limited circle entries for both sides. Carolina's had, a little more time on the ball. But Virginia trying to get in the circle right here.
And after Mendez Trendler's 2-minute stint, have not seen her back on the field. Keep an eye on Yasmina Smolinars as well for Carolina. Went down earlier with what appeared to be a lower body injury. Donahue's taken over her spot on the wing. This is Hope Haynes, Texan. Intercepted by the freshman from Miami, Catalina Quinteros. Field hockey's starting to spread just a bit, Matt. Not just a regional game anymore.
Obviously, it's huge in the Northeast, but the success of the Tar Heels as a program has led to some growth here in North Carolina. We've got pockets throughout the Midwest, thanks in part to success of programs like Northwestern and Iowa, and then this Texas pocket that's starting up as well.
Slinkert. The Dutch woman plays it back. And Donahue from New Jersey feeds the circle, intercepted. Noah Boderman plays it out. We got 12 Texans scattered around the ACC, 7 different rosters. Feature at least one player from Texas.
Well, there are no Division I programs in Texas, so they all got to go somewhere.
Under a minute to go, first quarter. What can Bruning manufacture? Pass to nobody. Not on the same page with Sienna Ricardo.
Carolina's possession has been solid between the 25s, Ian, but it's when they get inside their attack 25, they are just a touch off at connecting passes through this first quarter of play. That's the big reason why they've not had more real true scoring opportunities and why this is pretty likely to go to the end of the quarter tied up scoreless.
We talked to Coach Koizjins about his keys to the game for his squad. Shutting down Carolina's early offense, which was so successful last week, was first on his checklist. Wahoos have done that thus far.
And so far, so good. But as we know from Carolina's most recent loss, even if you go down 2-0, not necessarily the end of your day.
Virginia runs time off the end of the first quarter, and we have a stalemate through 15 minutes. Top 5 matchup continues on the other end of this break.